Imagine endless sun-baked dunes where the horizon melts into the scorching sky. Here, in the heart of Namibia's most ancient desert, live people whose traditions seem not just exotic, but sometimes utterly incomprehensible to us, raised in completely different cultural realities. We're going to talk about one of the most mysterious customs practiced by some tribes in this harsh region, a custom where a man is obliged to share his wife with a guest. Shocking, isn't it? But before we jump to conclusions, let's try to set aside our biases and look at this phenomenon through the lens of anthropology, attempting to understand what deep social and environmental factors could have given rise to and sustained such a practice for generations.
Is this a display of savagery or a carefully calculated survival mechanism in extreme conditions? How does such a custom fit into the belief system and values of these peoples? And what does it tell us about the nature of human relationships, the boundaries of personal space, and how profoundly culture can shape our perception of the world? We'll embark on a fascinating journey into the very heart of Namibia to try and unravel this ancient mystery, shedding stereotypes and armed only with curiosity and a desire for understanding.
In the embrace of the Namib, harsh realities of survival. The Namib Desert is more than just a geographical name. It's a symbol of endurance and adaptability. It's a place where life teeters on the edge, where every sip of water, every scrap of shade is worth its weight in gold. It's no wonder that the peoples who have managed to survive in this inferno have developed unique strategies that allow them not only to exist, but also to preserve their culture and identity. One such people are the Herero, cattle herders known for their vibrant clothing and complex social structures. Other tribes, like the Himba, are famous for their hairstyles and their use of ochre to protect their skin from the sun. All of them, in one way or another, face the same challenges: water scarcity, limited resources, and the need to maintain social cohesion amidst a constant struggle for survival.
It is in this context that the custom related to hospitality should be considered. In the culture of nomadic peoples, a guest was always sacred. They could bring news from other places, share knowledge, or simply offer support in difficult times. Refusing hospitality was considered not only impolite, but also dangerous, as it could lead to isolation and, consequently, to demise. But why has hospitality in some Namibian tribes taken such an unusual form? To answer this, we need to delve deeper into the social and economic factors underlying this tradition. Social and economic roots of the custom. There are several theories explaining the origin and persistence of the hospitality custom in Namibian tribes. One of them is linked to the need to strengthen social ties and exchange genes in small, isolated communities. With a limited gene pool, close relative marriages can lead to genetic diseases and reduced offspring viability. Allowing a guest to have offspring with a woman from the tribe could have been seen as a way to diversify the gene pool and increase the chances of survival for the entire community. This, of course, sounds pragmatic and even cynical, but it's important to remember that we're talking about cultures where the survival of the lineage and tribe was paramount. Another theory relates to economic aspects. In nomadic societies with limited resources, mutual aid and exchange are key survival factors. Hospitality could have been viewed as a form of investment in the future. By offering a warm welcome to a guest, a tribe could expect a reciprocal favor in the future, such as assistance in case of drought or enemy attacks. Furthermore, the custom could have played a role in maintaining a man's social status. Offering his wife to a guest could have been seen as a demonstration of generosity, strength, and self-confidence. It was a way to show that a man was strong enough to share the most valuable thing he possessed without losing his standing in society. However, it's crucial to emphasize that not all Namibian tribes practice this custom, and even where it exists, its implementation can vary depending on specific circumstances and personal preferences. It's important to avoid generalizations and consider each case individually, taking into account all the nuances of the cultural context. An anthropological perspective, a unique adaptation, or a relic of the past. From an anthropological standpoint, the hospitality custom in Namibian tribes represents a unique social adaptation that helped these people survive in extreme conditions. It's an example of how culture can influence our perception of personal space, marriage, and sexuality.
In Western culture, where individualism and personal property are central, such a custom might seem unacceptable and even immoral. However, it's important to remember that morality and values are relative and depend on cultural context. What is considered normal in one society may be taboo in another. Anthropologists urge us not to judge other cultures from the perspective of our own values, but rather to try to understand their logic and the reasons behind their customs. Only in this way do we broaden our understanding of human nature and the diversity of cultural forms.
At the same time, it's important to understand that the world is changing, and traditions that once helped people survive may become obsolete or even harmful in new conditions. Under the influence of globalization and the spread of Western culture, many traditional customs in Namibia are gradually disappearing or transforming. The younger generation is increasingly rejecting old customs, preferring modern ways of life instead. This is an unavoidable process happening all over the world. However, it's important to remember and preserve the cultural heritage of our ancestors so we don't lose our connection to the past and maintain our identity.
Hospitality in other cultures, parallels and differences. The custom of hospitality in Namibian tribes isn't unique. Various forms of hospitality exist in different cultures worldwide, some of which might seem unusual or even shocking to us. For instance, some Inuit tribes had a custom where the host would offer his wife to spend the night with the guest. This was considered the highest expression of hospitality and respect for the guest. In ancient Sparta, there was a custom where a man could lend his wife to another man for the purpose of bearing healthy offspring. This was because Spartans placed great importance on physical strength and health, aiming to improve their population's gene pool. In some Polynesian tribes, a chief might offer his daughter to a guest as a temporary wife. This was seen as a sign of special favor and friendship. All these examples show that hospitality can take many different forms, and our ideas about marriage, sexuality, and personal property aren't universal. It's important to remember this when we try to understand other cultures and their customs. However, there are also significant differences between these customs and the one practiced in Namibian tribes. In most cases, it involved the temporary lending of a wife to a guest, not a permanent arrangement. Additionally, in some instances, the custom might have been linked to ritual ceremonies or religious beliefs. In the case of Namibian tribes, the custom appears to be more pragmatic, tied to the need to strengthen social bonds and exchange genes in conditions of limited resources. Safety and ethics, a delicate matter. Discussing the custom of hospitality in Namibian tribes raises important questions about safety and ethics. It's crucial to approach this topic with caution, avoiding sensationalism and exploitation. First, we must respect the privacy of the people who practice this custom. We shouldn't intrude on their personal space or impose our own values on them.
Second, we need to consider the interests of all parties involved in this custom, including women, men, and children. It's important to ensure that everyone participating acts voluntarily and understands the consequences of their actions. Third, we must avoid any form of exploitation or violence. This custom should never be used to justify sexual assault or human trafficking. Instead of focusing on shocking details, we should concentrate on the educational aspects of this subject. It's important to show how culture can influence our ideas about marriage, sexuality, and personal property, and how different peoples adapt to various environmental conditions.
Conclusion. Lessons from Namibia. Traveling to Namibia and learning about its people's customs is more than just an exotic adventure.
It's an opportunity to broaden our understanding of human nature and the diversity of cultural forms. The custom of hospitality in Namibian tribes might seem strange or even unacceptable to us, but it serves as an example of how culture can shape our views on marriage, sexuality, and personal property. By studying this custom, we can better understand how different peoples adapt to various environmental conditions and how social and economic factors can shape our customs and traditions. Most importantly, we can learn to be more tolerant and respectful of other cultures, refraining from judging them based on our own values. Only then can we build a more just and harmonious world, where everyone has the right to their own culture and identity. The Namib Desert holds many secrets and mysteries. By unraveling them, we not only learn more about this amazing place, but also about ourselves. This experience prompts us to reflect on what it means to be human, the boundaries of what's permissible, and the endless diversity of human cultures. Perhaps this is the true value of anthropological research, expanding our horizons and fostering tolerance and respect for other cultures.
Thus, studying the customs of Namibian peoples, even those that seem shocking and incomprehensible to us, can be a valuable lesson that helps us better understand the world and ourselves. After all, we are all part of one large human family, and each of us has something to learn from one another.